So, Maisie has had her earrings in for 6 weeks, her first earpiecings, and she's just going to change them for some fashion earrings now. They're the ones that are going to go in.
Sparkly!
Let me just clean the back.
That's it. Oh, turn first left and then right. Oh, nice. Oh,
Very
lovely.
good. Nice,
Lovely. It's Wednesday the 28th of August and we're in Pickering. We've come from High Catton to Pickering to collect my new pair of glasses and also Kirsty's contact lens appointment. And we thought while we were here we'd have a look at Pickering Castle, which is part of English heritage. So we're just going to do that. Unfortunately it's raining. I don't know if you can see that on the movie. But we've got all our waterproofs on again and we're going to see how it goes. This is a 13th century castle and hunting lodge. And if we look here, we see the current Mrs. Pickering here at, at Pickering Castle entrance. Pickering Castle was first instituted by William the Conqueror, probably about 1070. And the only thing that's extant from that period is the motte, or the central mound, which is this thing over here that still dominates the site. The girls are doing like some kind of treasure hunt thing over here. They have to find so many night creatures like elves and goblins and whatever on the site, and they get a free sweet at the end. Various kings in the medieval period between about 1180 and 1326 strengthened and changed the castle in various different ways. So as we have a little look at the castle here, so this area, the Coleman Tower, was a prison and protected the bridge into the inner ward, was built by Henry II. And then moving up here, there were various battlements up there all the way to the top of the motte, where there was the Shell Keep, which was the King's Tower, commanded the whole castle, and it was built by Henry III. And then the outer curtain wall protecting the outer ward was built by Edward III. So it's various different ages. As the girls, astounded by my knowledge of history and absolutely amazed. It is my family home, so I should know something about it. And no one believes me.
I'm just planning where I'm going to put my table and chairs in my family home.
Inside the inner part of the castle now, just gone across that little bridge that we could see earlier. And the main court officials inside this castle were responsible for administering and making sure nobody did anything they shouldn't do in Pickering Forest, which was to the north of the castle. It was really the King's Preserve and reserved for royal hunting and things like that. And the crimes people were most commonly charged with were obviously poaching, but also the crime of assertment, which is cultivating or clearing and cultivating the forest. So at various times the castle was a prison as much as anything else, including using this building here, which is the Coleman Tower, which we saw from the other side. So we're going up the steps towards the King's Keep. I think probably quite modern steps these. Looking down to the chapel. The Great Hall, of course, has disappeared over time. Pretty commanding views from the keep, the countryside all around. It's quite nice actually. It's not the best day for it. You see the cloud that we've had this morning, a little bit of rain. There's the Queen of the Castle surveying her realm. And we can look at some of the countryside in the background. And the interior of the keep is much ruined really, there's not really an awful lot left. The outline of some of the buildings, it's quite a large space up here, but looks like it was divided into small areas, so not one big room. And then you can see the outer wall of the keep. We've got the arrow slits, very thick walls, the line of last defence I suppose. Well, it's the well, or at least one well. One of the signs said that you could still see the judgment seat of the court recessed into the wall, so we think that this might be the judgment seat recessed into the wall. You can still see a couple of modern day Pickerings passing judgment on their fellow lesser mortals. Is it good or bad? Oh dear, to the dungeon. Oh dear. They think the first castle built in wood by William the Conqueror in about 1069 was built of wood walls, wood keep, with a motte in the middle with the keep raised on top. And this was helping William the Conqueror impose his authority over the north after the harrying of the north, after he'd subdued it. And this is how it looked probably in the early 13th century when all the wood of the palisade and the keep was replaced by stone walls. Finished castle, how it looked in the 14th century when the strengthening of the walls had been complete. People were actually living in the walls by then. There were towers at each corner of the castle. This building that these displays are in is the chapel, which is thought to date to about 1227, Chapel of St Nicholas. And until the mid-16th century, the castle had a resident chaplain. And in the 14th century, from records, they can tell that the salary of the chaplain was about 2d a day, which is about the same as what was received by the watchman and the porter. And then in the 17th century, this building was used as a courthouse after the Great Hall was ruined. Penalties for breaking the rules of the Royal Forest were quite harsh, but eventually the king decided, rather than mutilating people, it was a good idea to charge them for their misdemeanours. So there's just a list of income from Pickering Forest in 1298. This is £21, 9 shillings, 10 1/4 pence for rents and intakes in the forest, and various other things. Courts of the forest and charges for pigs in the woods, £4. Meadows and pastures in the deer hays, £15. Freeman work maintaining the outer walls, £2. Total income, £185, 4 shillings, 10 1/2 pence. That's equivalent to about £500,000 in today's money.